Welcome in, everybody, to this 76ers postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta, coming to you after a 76ers 120-102 victory over the Detroit Pistons, a win that marked the Sixers' sixth straight. We'll, of course, keep it real when it comes to all the scores throughout the Eastern Conference, when it comes to what the Magic got going on, when it comes to the Pacers, what they did tonight, the Miami Heat as well, when it comes to the playoff implications in this game. But bottom line is, worst case scenario, Sixers kept pace tonight with no Tyrese Maxey, getting a little rest after his 50-plus performance against the San Antonio Spurs 2 nights ago. Joel Embiid, though, logs and a high since coming back from the meniscus injury. 36 minutes played, 37 points scored, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists for the reigning MVP. Not too bad. We'll talk about it all right here on this 76ers postcast. You are locked on Philadelphia Sports YouTube channel.
You are Locked On 76ers postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
This Locked On Sixers postcast is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. Helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster than ever before. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's LinkedIn LockedOnNBA. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. We got to get to the big three things as we start out every single show. The big three things: Embiid, Harris, and Hield. First off, Joel Embiid. Oh my goodness, tonight Joel Embiid just finds another way to dazzle you tonight. Just in the first half alone, Joel Embiid was able to go out there and get you 7 assists. The 7 was kind of funny because he was falling down and he threw it up, and I think it was Ubre that came down with it, and boom, he got a dunk. But that was great. But every assist was more dazzling than the next. It was incredible to watch how he was dealing and finding his teammates. Nicholas Batum, baseline cutter, is able to get an easy lay-in thanks to the feed from Embiid. Tobias Harris has the ball at the top of the key, gives it to Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid takes a couple of bounces. Easy bounce pass there to Tobias Harris, cutting to the rim. You love to see it. Jeff Doughton even got in on the action. We'll talk about him a little bit more as the show goes on. But we know Embiid can score. We know Embiid can hit a three. We know he can hit his foul shots, blah, blah, blah. What we love to see from Joel Embiid, what we needed to see from Joel Embiid coming into this season, and of course he has, again, after coming back from the meniscus injury, seeing him be able to set up his teammates. Not just score in his own right, which he can do a fantastic job of doing, but be able to set up his teammates as well to be in good positions to make buckets for this Sixers team. It felt like tonight, more so than any night since he's been back, in the brief sample size that we have seen, not only do you continue to see him play himself into shape, but you also see the rest of the game start to come along that you saw before he went out with that injury. You saw him be able to find his teammates, whether they're on the perimeter, whether they're making cuts to the basket. He was rewarding their efforts for constant motion in that offense. One scary moment for Joel Embiid tonight, and I don't know what you guys did, but I blacked out. I totally blacked out. There was a situation, I want to say it was in the third quarter, where Joel Embiid, third quarter, 7:21 remaining in that third quarter. Joel Embiid goes for a ball that's going out of bounds off the hands of Nico Batum. He tries to corral it, ends up stepping on the line, so it's out anyway, and he buckles his left knee. It looked like his knee, if this is his kneecap, for the people on the podcast, showing my hands as a kneecap, they did a little of that. Not good. Not good at all. So I'm watching that, and then I did, no. Got up. He stayed in the game. He didn't need to be looked at by the trainers. Everything was just hunky-dory, fine and dandy, and he goes out there and makes a couple of more buckets for you. At that point in the game, he had already played 23 minutes, so he went on and played another 13 minutes for you in the game, which was great. It shows me that he's healthy. There was no panic button there for the Sixers to hit, fortunately, and he went on to continue to help this team close out the basketball game. And they needed him in that third quarter more than ever, because The Pistons, of all teams, actually made a run at this thing midway through the third quarter. That also was scary. Not as scary as a Joel Embiid buckled knee, the one he just came back from, but that was also scary. Second thing I want to get into. So Joel Embiid's night, great, fantastic. Second thing, Tobias Harris coming back. Missed the last couple of games here. He comes back, gets into the game, drops 15 points. I am done defending Tobias Harris. And one of the next guys I'm going to talk about here is taking his spot. And one of the guys I've talked about really throughout the last month of the season has been Kelly Oubre and how he's been able to help this team. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to have Tobias Harris's confidence as high as it could possibly be going into the play-in tournament or just the playoffs straight up. Seeing him come back in the game tonight, seeing him be aggressive, go to the rim, shoot a couple threes, didn't make any of them, shoot a couple threes, but still come back into the game, find the flow of the game. Same thing with the Anthony Melton, getting him back involved. It was great for his first activity since February, so great to see him back out there for that. But Tobias Harris, most notably, because he's the guy that seems to have the most head games being played with him right now. He seems to be the guy that needs to get over the most stuff. He needs everything to be perfect in order for him to really contribute. And to see him get 15 points right out of the gate, that's a good jumping off point for Tobias Harris. A good jumping off point for Tobias Harris. I don't think he's going to go past Kelly Oubre and become the third scorer on this team or anything like this. I think right now it's Joel Embiid, it's Tyrese Maxey, it's Kelly Oubre, and then Tobias Harris and maybe a red hot Buddy Hield like he was tonight. But that's the way I expect it going forward in terms of the scoring hierarchy for the 76ers for the last two games of the regular season, still playing to get out of the play-in tournament, and in the postseason as well when the actual playoffs start. That's the way I see it shaking out as far as the scoring hierarchy goes for the 76ers. But just to see Tobias Harris get in the game tonight, get you 15 points, be a much better helper than we have seen him in recent months when he was healthy. So seeing him get back into the swing of things in that way was great. Buddy Hield, number 3. Kelly Oubre, I've just been talking beautiful things about really for the last month. And I just Kelly Oubre is great. Okay. Exactly what the Sixers need. But Buddy Hield he's had his struggles, to put it plainly. Came to the Sixers, was dropping threes left and right, a bunch of 4-3 games, 4 3-pointer games, I should say. And then he really cooled off and went through a really tough stretch there to the point where you were wondering if he was really going to get his confidence back. Well, tonight, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc, 5 threes drained for Buddy Hield. You look at the last couple of games that he's had, you see it start to come back a little bit for Buddy Hield, which is exactly what you need to see when you're a three-point shooter like he is. He's the guy that the Sixers have been after for quite some time. 2 nights ago against the Spurs, he has 2 threes. Tonight, he had 5. Things starting to trend in the right direction for Buddy Hield. He also was rebounding from a game where only hit 1. He started to go through a stretch where only had 2 threes in 3 games. So seeing him get that confidence and kind of be unconscious like he was tonight, knocking down those 5 threes, is something you want him to be able to. Speaking about building confidence, if you're Tobias Harris, it's the same thing when you're talking about a 3-point specialist like Buddy Hield. You want to see more of that specialist and not just a gunner. Specialists, they make the shot. The gunners, they just keep on shooting no matter what. Buddy Hield's not helping anybody if he's not knocking down that outside shot, that shot from the perimeter. And that's what he's able to do, and that's what he did tonight. If this is just the start of that process for Buddy Hield, then good things are about to happen for the Sixers if they do fall into that play-in tournament or if they do end up making it out somehow. Now, speaking of which, at the time that we talk about this, at the time that we break it down, the Heat and the Hawks are in Atlanta, headed into overtime at 101 all. Unfortunately for the 76ers, the Indiana Pacers have already won tonight. The Indiana Pacers were actually losing by about 15 points early in the game tonight, and unfortunately, they came back. They came back and won, which stinks, but that's what happened. The Raptors showed some fight, and then the Pacers just destroyed them from about the second quarter on. Raptors ended up taking the loss 140-123. Pacers take the win 140-123. That's the way that breaks down. The Bucks, by the way, they beat the Celtics, but Giannis Antetokounmpo left the game with a calf strain, it's being called. We'll see if there's any developments to that over the next 20 minutes or so. But as of right now, that's where we sit with the Sixers. Obviously, you never root for an injury. Just reporting the news, folks. Just reporting the news. Yeah, Heat and Hawks just about to start up their first overtime period. Coming up, okay, Buddy Hield, great. Tobias Harris, wonderful. Joel Embiid, reigning MVP, doing his thing. Great to hear him be at the foul line tonight at the Wells Fargo Center and hear the chance of MVP still, even though now he's not going to qualify due to the NBA rule. I get it. I understand it. Not going to argue that case tonight. But the Sixers are doing something right now. They're getting something right now. And I've mentioned this over the last couple of shows that we've done, the postcasts that we've done for the Sixers. They're getting help from everywhere. They're getting help from just about everyone. Whose turn was it to step up tonight? We'll get into that in just a second. But first, we got to tell you about some great sponsors here of Locked On 76ers Postcast. You heard me talking earlier in the show for our title sponsor of today's program. That's the great people, ladies and gentlemen, of LinkedIn. LinkedIn, when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has the vast network of more than 1 billion with a B professionals, which makes it the best place to find people that you want to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy with LinkedIn when you have this many qualified candidates and high quality candidates as well. So easy. In fact, 86% of small businesses get qualified candidates within 24 hours. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process even easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and even faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Ricky Counts of the fourth comes out, hits some huge shots for you against the Spurs in that double overtime. Doesn't even get into the game until the fourth quarter. He starts helping you out. We're talking about that guy, KJ Martin, coming up huge, giving you some good quality minutes for the 76ers. Well, Jeff Doughton goes out there tonight, and after a scoreless performance against the Spurs, where he still managed to give you some good minutes, he went out there tonight and gave you some great minutes. And the Sixers are going to need everybody stepping up in order to help you win basketball games for the last 2 games of the season and into the postseason as well. One of the things you saw from Jeff Doughton tonight was aggressiveness. You didn't see as much of it against the Spurs, but this time around, he attacked. He went to the rim. He found open teammates. He did the things that a guy that is looking to contribute did, and he finished at the rim. And there was no better example of this for Jeff Doughton tonight, who got 21 minutes, by the way, and finished with 8 points and a +9 on the evening, was the steal that he had. The steal, the run out Jeff Doughton was able to put together in that third quarter. At this point, keep in mind where we're at, all right? The 76ers just had their lead slashed from 71 to 70. They got it slashed to 1 point in that third quarter. It was shortly after Joel Embiid had that buckling knee issue on the out-of-bounds play. After that, Sasser started dropping threes left and right for the Detroit Pistons, including one that made it a one-point game. It was a 9-0 Detroit Pistons run at this point with about 7:06 remaining in the third quarter. Ubre had gone to the locker room with a little bit of an injury. He came back a couple of minutes later. All was right with him, no problem. And then out of nowhere, Ubre gets another 2 points. Doughton gets a steal. A wonderful moment there. And then Malachi Flynn, Mr. 50-point scorer from a couple of nights ago, Malachi Flynn fouls him hard. Doughton makes the 2 points there. and then he ends up sitting down or goes to the foul line and ends up missing the point. But that made it 81-72, but the Sixers were off and running after that. Ubre had a big block on Wiseman, does the flex down on the boards as well. Then later he grabs a rebound. Then later Downton comes up with a driving lay-in high off the glass to give the Sixers the 83-74 lead. And then Buddy Hield. Just keep doing your thing, baby. Just keep doing your thing. Buddy Hield hit another three, made it an 86-76 game, and Ubre added another layup after that, and the Sixers never lost control. They would open the fourth quarter and go on a 12-0 run all the way to the 7:46 mark of that fourth quarter. And you could sit Embiid after that. You just let him chill. Mo Bamba came into the game. Sixers handled their business, man. And it all started with the contributions from yet another end-of-the-bench player. Ricky Council IV did play in tonight's game. Did not highlight as much as you had seen him highlight in the past. But most recently, what he was able to do for you in tonight's game was get out there, give you some good quality minutes, play some good defense. And the best part of his game was the three that he hit at the end of the first quarter. Corner three for Ricky Council IV, puts it up, knocks it down, and wouldn't you know it, one of the first people to take the time to go over and have a little conversation, not just high-five him, not just slap him on the butt and say, hey, good hustle, fella. One of the first people to grab, the first person, as a matter of fact, to grab him, pull him aside, and be like, dude, that was awesome, was Tyrese Maxey. We've talked a lot about Tyrese Maxey and his leadership. He pulls the guy aside. Whether it's Tobias Harris, whoever, he pulls him aside. Way to go, or this is what you need to do. He's not even playing in the game tonight. Tyrese Maxey getting the night off. But you know what he did? Took the time to encourage a teammate. Because he knows he's already been, like, think of your Tobias, if you're Tyrese Maxey, like, think about what's ahead of you already, okay? This is what's ahead of you if you're Tyrese Maxey. You have a play-in tournament, you have postseason, and you have the fear, and it's a good kind of fear, it's a motivating fear of getting bounced out prematurely yet again. So let's just backtrack for a second. This is what I caught myself doing during tonight's game, especially when the Sixers just started to dominate in the end of that fourth quarter. Sixers went out there with Tyrese Maxey for a lot of this year without Joel Embiid, 2 months. But if you follow the maturation process of Tyrese Maxey, you probably be a top 2, top 3 pick in the NBA draft. Had you played in the NCAA tournament that year, which got canceled for Kentucky when it came to COVID, obviously. But then you come to a Sixers team, you got problems with your point guard and Ben Simmons. You got a coach that acknowledges your work ethic, but doesn't give you much of a chance in Doc Rivers. Then the following year, everything goes to hell with Ben Simmons. You are all of a sudden thrust into the mix of being a starter. You're allowed room to grow. Ben Simmons ends up Joel Embiid ends up missing about 9 or 10 games with COVID. You then get thrust. Forget about just being a starter. You're now the leader on the team. You're the leading scorer on the team. Joel Embiid comes back. You make another push. All of a sudden, Ben Simmons finally gets traded. James Harden's here. You're pushed back now to the third scorer on the team. And yet, again, you get bounced out in the second round. So then round 2, hey, let's run it back. Round 2 as in, let's fight again. Not round 2 as in round 2 of the playoffs. But then eventually you get bounced out in the second round again. This time with James Harden and Joel Embiid. Again. Now this is your chance. This is your chance, if you're Tyrese Maxey, to show that you are absolutely the best running mate that Joel Embiid has had since Jimmy Butler. And I said it this morning on my show. I'll say it again now. This is the best brand of basketball I've seen from the 76ers since that Jimmy Butler team got quadruple doinked out of the playoffs in that Game 7 north of the border in Toronto against Nick Nurse. This is the best brand of basketball. Seeing Maxey play at this level, with Joel Embiid just coming back, Kelly Oubre going to a new level for him as a 76er with Joel Embiid here. And Joel Embiid's not even full bore yet. Joel Embiid right now, logging 36 minutes is good. He's close. He's getting close to what he was doing beforehand. But you talk about the playoffs? You talk about not getting optimal rest? Tonight was the closest you have seen from Nick Nurse playing him on his normal schedule. Now, he, instead of playing, again, the whole first half or the first quarter, and I even mentioned before that I like Joel Embiid playing on this staggered lineup or rotation that Nick Nurse has him on, where before he was playing him for the whole first quarter. And maybe that's what we're still ramping up to when it comes to Joel Embiid being all systems go official before the postseason starts up. But you see Joel Embiid go out there tonight, log those 36 minutes. He was playing the whole first quarter before, got taken out at the 3:14 mark of the first. Then he got taken out at the 3:05 mark of the second and came back for, I believe, the final minute. Then you saw him come back out for the third quarter, and then he played maybe 4 or 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Yeah, third quarter, then fourth quarter. That's not what we really saw from Joel Embiid for the majority of the season before the injury took place. But now seeing him get back up to over 30 minutes, seeing him get to 23 minutes, have a little bit of a, like I said, tweak to that knee and then still come back, that's great. Seeing Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, whatever Tobias Harris can give you, and maybe a hot buddy Hield from three, this team could make some noise in the postseason, especially when you're thinking about the idea of them maybe being the hottest team in the NBA going into the postseason. The Celtics lost tonight. The Sixers are the only team in the Eastern Conference with a 6-game winning streak. Think about that for a second. By the way, at the time we talk about this, once again, the Heat and the Hawks, 107 all. The end of the first overtime. That was a quick overtime period. What are they? Good Lord. Anyway, but that's where we're at right now in the Eastern Conference. But yeah, this is the best version of the Sixers I've seen since that Jimmy Butler team. And yeah, I understand. I understand that James Harden was pretty good, but there's something about this year with Joel Embiid, the clear-cut leader, if you will, and really having no excuses with anybody else trying to take away any limelight. I think there's a psychological factor that goes into this and where the Sixers are at. Love the idea of them being the hottest team going into the postseason. Keep that going. All right, we're going to take a look around the rest of the Eastern Conference right now, what the Magic had going on tonight, and what the standings look like right now for your 10-9-8 76ers. We'll be back in a second. Right now, I do have to tell you about the Game Time app. Listen up, sports fans, concert goers, comedy show goers, whatever the case may be. You want Game Time app. If you want to go to the big event, if you want to buy tickets, well, guess what? Buying tickets has never been easier than it is right now, thanks to the people at the Game Time app. I use this app all the time. If I want to go to a concert, I want to go to a game, a comedy show, whatever the case may be, the Game Time app is where it's at. If you want tickets, download the Game Time app to your phone and enjoy the best ticket buying experience. Game Time has killer last-minute ticket deals. They have all-in pricing. You can view your seat before you even buy it and the Vantage Point itself. And talk to me. Lowest price, guaranteed. You know what that means? That means it's called the Game Time Guarantee. The lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Here are a couple of my favorite features. The flash ticket deals, those are incredible. You save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. How about the zone ticket deals? Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. And how about the all-in pricing? Because it really does stink when you go back and you're about to check out and you say, oh, wait, hold on a second. How do these $20 tickets all of a sudden become $40? What? There's a wildly inconvenient convenience fee. Not with the Game Time app. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows that the total is coming to you up front. No surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem this code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So here's what we're looking at right now, folks. We're going to be winding this down. All right, still now in their second overtime, still 107-107 Atlanta Hawks and Miami Heat. That's where they're at right now. Looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference, the Magic are very close to losing. They're trailing the Rockets right now with 6 minutes remaining, 106-97 in Houston. Now, why does that matter? Because the way you look at the standings right now in the Eastern Conference, with the Sixers getting their 6th straight win. Again, the longest active winning streak in all the NBA. So hottest team in the NBA. Sixers now have put the Heat behind them by a full game. Might even be more coming up if the Heat do end up losing. The Pacers now have still a 1-game lead on the Sixers. The Magic take the loss tonight. They drop down to just 16 full games into the 3rd Eastern Conference spot. That's where we're at right now with the 76ers, the Orlando Magic. The Knicks as well are in that same type of atmosphere or environment, unfortunately, as the Orlando Magic. So a lot has to go right. The Knicks are looking like they're about to close out a win over the Bulls. So as it stands right now, it looks like, yes, after tonight, the Sixers will still, unfortunately, be in the 7th playoff seed. But here's the best part. They're at least keeping pace, man. They might be gaining on some other teams. They're still going to need a lot to go right. And it's all going to come down to the wire. I know some people are rooting for them to actually make the play-in tournament. I say no, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that play-in tournament. But the odds are right now, with some fight left in them, that's where they're going to end up after 2 games, which is what they have left in this regular season. Coming up, some 2 nights from tonight. So Thursday night, Sixers are going to be back in action against those Orlando Magic. So every team pretty much has one more team they got to face that is going to be in the postseason in one way or another. But they got the Magic coming up Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Obviously a huge game. Magic will come in as of right now, 46-32. The Sixers now 10 games, back to 10 games over 500 at 45-35. With Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, the 76ers have a damn near 730 win percentage. That's better than any team in the NBA. That's first place. That's a first place number. Okay. That's pretty good. So there's reason to believe in the Sixers team making a little bit of noise. And if all falls into the right spot, Sixers will take that opportunity and maybe, just maybe, get out of the second round for the first time since Allen Iverson took this team to the NBA Finals in 2001. Yeah, that's how long it's been. It's been a long, 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 long time. One last thing from tonight's game that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. I mentioned Jeff Doughton, Buddy Hield, Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, all that. I got to applaud Nick Nurse one more time here. I applauded him after the Spurs game for the play he drew up for Tyrese Maxey, and maybe he had a lack of option at this point. He needed to put in the young guys or the inexperienced guys like Jeff Doughton, for instance, or Ricky Council IV and all that. Tonight's game showed me just how ready everyone on this team is for the postseason. And I am so used to, and I got used to it real quick because it was such an about face. With the long Brett Brown era in Philadelphia, you got used to believing in young talent. It's all about development and getting better, okay? Then there was the Doc Rivers era where you didn't really invest in that young talent. You really didn't have belief in that young talent. Now with Nick Nurse, I get much more of a sense that he is not afraid to give guys like Jeff Doughton is getting minutes here in a close game. Jeff Doughton's on the court. It's a 1-point game. Huh? You're getting a ball to Ricky Council IV in the corner at the end of the first quarter. Huh? How are these guys getting any significant? How are these guys not getting garbage time in the past under Doc Rivers? 120 to 102, you would just be getting guys in. Jeff Doughton wouldn't have an opportunity to chip in 8 points for you tonight. That wouldn't happen. Not a chance. But it's happening under Nick Nurse. And it's the ball movement I've seen from this team all year. It's the play design out of timeouts. Again, no better example than Tyrese Maxey forcing overtime against the Spurs. And then it's the young guys on this team that are getting the trust they deserve from their head coach. Because guess what? When the playoffs roll around, there's going to be no ramp up for these guys. It's all systems go. And to see them be able to contribute big minutes and clutch points during a 6-game winning streak at the end of the year, huge. It's a great ask for a very heads-up head coach in Nick Nurse. Another reason to believe that something special could happen this year. With that being said, I'm still scared to hell of the Celtics. But, whatever. Conversation for another day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, and all that great stuff on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Big game going on in Philly. We're talking about it right here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And whatever postcast we give you, whether it's the Sixers, whether it's the Phils, we're here to break it all down for you. For the Phils fans out there, catching this live right now in St. Louis, not great. They trail 3-0 going to the bottom of the third inning. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is Locked On 76ers postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.